such a good dialectician that,
Right.
that he could do Italian, Irish, whatever you needed, he could do it.
Right.
Well, thanks for your call.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much.
One final call for Dr. Allen. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
And Dr. Allen named 6 famous veterinarians who have a comedian for a sister.
All right, the first one is...
Oh, that's wonderful.
The question was, name 6 famous veterinarians who have a comedian for a sister. Dr. Cronkite, Dr. Ehrlich and his magic bullet, which was one of the great acts. Those are 2 of them. I'll have to take the others under advisement.
Or 6 favorite comedians who have been to a veterinarian.
That is funny. We have the funniest listeners in Listenerville.
I guess we should quit while we're behind.
Right. Very good way to put
Steve,
it.
you also have probably one of the most incredible alumni. Is it a correctly an alumni in the business? All those names you mentioned.
Funny folk.
Funny folk, and you kicked off.
I almost kicked off about 2 years ago, but I'm still with it.
Steve Lawrence, Edie Gourmet,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Andy Williams.
Andy Williams, Juan Perón, a lot of wonderful people.
So all your wonderful friends.
And Ad Walgast.
Well, we have
Somebody was gas. Yes, Mark.
We have to stop for a second, and then we'll come back and have lunch.
All right, and the wrestling sound is Jane opening all the little things that she brought back to us. What did you bring, Jane?
Well, I brought you, I hope you like it, a BLT. Feel the mood? If not...
I like the B, the LT I could do it. No, I love that.
You like that?
Yes.
You see, it's so healthy, except...
And she also brought me a hot IBM on toast and some DDT to
And
sprinkle on.
Dr. Wang will be here, too.
We'll be right back.
Coming up, more of Lunch with Steve.
Wait a minute.
Only for drinking purposes,
I got
yes.
down there and I thought,
Yes, Jane.
you don't mean to say you're still on the air, and I was
I don't see why, but...
jabbering and jabbering away as if I was in the kitchen at home.
While we were pointing
As
at the
a
microphone.
child.
Someone's
I
in the
know.
kitchen with
That
Dinah.
frantic pointing means you're in trouble.
No, it just means you're 14 feet off mic
Oh.
and 3 feet off the ground, may I say.
24 off mic. Had no idea I was
Now, what
even-
was the gist of your...
Oh, I don't know.
spectrum?
It's been blotted out by shock.
That's called shock blot.
Oh, dear.
Mark.
More of the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet in a moment on WNEW. First, the Wall Street Journal report is brought to you by the Wall Street Journal.
It is true that housing starts fell last month, but they edged only 0.1% lower, and economists point out that the January housing starts nearly kept pace with December's strong rate. Low mortgage rates have fueled housing starts, and one analyst says the housing industry may contribute a little more to the overall economy in the first quarter than earlier expected. Retailer JCPenney will launch a new cable TV shopping service this summer. It's called Tell Action, and plans call for it to be introduced in the Chicago area first. To enhance its image as a diversified travel service company, United Airlines parent UAL will change its name to Allegiance Corporation. New York COMEX spot gold up $1.40 at $393.50. March silver down a penny at $5.40 an ounce. And the Dow Jones Industrials are down about 7 points at 2230. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
Of the 19 major copier companies, only one makes copiers. Meta, which may explain why in a recent survey by Office Machine News, Meta was chosen Copier Manufacturer of the Year. After all, we didn't get to be the fastest growing copier company by making cameras. Meta, all we make are great copiers. Call 1-800-ABC-MITA.
We don't make cameras like they do. We don't make copiers like they do. We don't make bicycles like they do. Oh, the copiers, the copiers, the copiers.
Tradition. Tradition is what makes us Jews. And one of the strongest traditions among Jewish families is burial in the family cemetery property. But today many people are retiring to Florida. For these people there are serious questions whether the tradition should be observed. Is it practical? Is it affordable? To these questions we can say yes. Reasonably priced funeral services are available between Florida and New York. Riverside, Boulevard Park West, Schwartz Brothers and Jeffer are respected Jewish funeral directors who help families maintain their traditions. When people need us, we are there. We are Riverside, Boulevard Park West, Schwartz Brothers, and Jeffer. You'll find us throughout New York City, Westchester, Long Island, and in Florida. And we'd like to send you the booklet, The Jewish Funeral in Contemporary Life. Call toll-free 1-800-528-6600. That's 1-800-528-6600 for this booklet.
Imagine the unforgettable music of Hoagie Carmichael, Benny Goodman, Duke Ellington in one beautiful Broadway musical. Mitchell Parish's Stardust, a glittering and romantic night of theatrical magic and the critics' acclaim. Stardust, the New York Times cheers an effervescent, glowing celebration. Stardust, the New York Post agrees, one of the year's best. Stardust, catch it at the Biltmore Theater. Stardust, Broadway hasn't been this much fun in years. Call Teletron 947-0033. Stardust, 947-0033.
On WNEW, once again, with his mouth full, Steve Allen.
It's not full any longer. It was full just a scant moment ago. We've had some very scant moments. What is that, Jane? A pickle. On a pickle paper without a warning. Well, we have now cold juice, and, oh, Lord. You made the night too long. I'm well into my BLT. And what are you giving me? Oh, it's, yes. We have to keep explaining. You know, I've been on television for so many years, like 40 years, and all you need to do is reach out and grab something on television, and everybody sees it. They take a close-up, and they say, oh, there's a pickle in his hand.
Well, thank goodness they can't see this. Looks like a recycling center for takeout bags.
I don't know why you say that, Mark. I've really fallen in love with this make-believe ballroom.
We eat make-believe food. We produce pounds of make-believe garbage.
We make believe there are chairs. And, make believe there's room.
But we are a strictly equal opportunity employer, member FDIC, and vets no down. Oh, boy. Well, is it time to do another commercial for Potemkin Village? Or I guess not. Let me see. I will divest myself of my vest here for a moment. Jane, I thought that we would surprise you with a recording on which your voice is featured. This is from an album for children we were talking about a moment ago. It's called...
that album we just made.
Yeah, it's called Shaken Loose with Mother Goose. Even if you get a kick out of it, folks, forget it. You can't buy it in a store. You have to join the Marines or do something definite like that to get a copy. No, it's one of those, what do you call it when you write in to
one of those mail order things?
Thank you.
Exactly, yeah.
But it is, it's a kind of a cute thing because it has been noted by scholars that many of today's children have lost track of several hundred years of tradition of English literature to which we are first exposed in infancy and early childhood with little things like Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill, Three Blind Mice, Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, and all that sort of
stuff.
stuff.
And if you really study them, it explains why there's so much violence in the world.
Yes, she cut off their tails with a butcher knife.
Oh, they are just unbelievable.
Yes, and you can get it served at any New York delicatessen.
Put them to music so it sort of takes a little of the curse off it.
Not too much. So, anyway, here now is, I don't know what track, but Mark has spun around here at random. And if you have any little children, wake them up, fasten them in front of your radio for just a few minutes here, and then they will learn something about English poetic literature. The man in the moon came down too soon and asked his way to Norwich. He went by the south and burned his mouth while eating cold plum porridge.
Sally go round the sun, Sally go round the moon, Sally go round the chimney pot on a Saturday afternoon.
On Saturday night, I lost my way, and where do you think I found her? Up in the moon, singing too, with all the stars around her. Starlight, starbright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might, have to wish a wish tonight.
Man in the moon looked out of the moon and said,
You're about getting to bed.
The sun in the sky, the moon in a tree. The bells in the steeple are ringing for me. A bird in the air, a fish in the sea. A bonny wee lassie can sing to me. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. When I cook and when I bake, I'll give you a figgy cake.
Starlight, starlight, burning star, I see the light. Wish I may, wish I might have the wish tonight.
What's the news today, good neighbor, I pray?
They say the balloon has gone up to the moon.
I see the moon, and the moon sees me.
God bless the moon, and God bless me. So, there you are, shaken loose with Mother Goose. Little rock rhythm there, and
That's the first time I've ever heard it. I know it just came out, but that is the first time I've ever heard it.
it's, if you find fault with the lyrics, you'll have to find the folks who made them up 200 or 300 years ago in the outskirts of London, I guess. It's all the real authentic stuff.
And musically, I remember each nursery rhyme is done to a different type of music. Some of it's Gilbert and Sullivan, some it's opera, some of it's...
Latin, rock,
yeah,
whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be hearing something a bit more conventional shortly, something by Mel Torme. Could we, in fact...
We can do it right now.
Oh, isn't that nice? From record to record for a switch here. Mel Torme is another one of our old gang. We used to hang out with Mel back in the days of the green Packard convertible.
Exactly, right.
So it's... I hate that phrase, old home week. I have never actually experienced an old home week. I just hear people say that. Have any of you ever attended old home week?
Well, how many old homes have you been to?
Stand by.
I've been in a lot of old Packards.
Right.
Green Packards, no?
Yeah. Any of you out there, another thing that you don't run into too often in reality, although it's a very common expression, people say, field day. Boy, I was really busy there yesterday. It was a regular field day. Mark, have you ever personally been involved with a field day?
Oh, sure.
Don't even know what it is.
See?
Sure, a field day.
I know what it is, but look at Mark's generation here, and he's a very
Well,
smart
but
man.
darling, he's a New Yorker, and there are no fields in New York, you see. I think
There's
other
Mrs.
than-
Fields' cookies.
Yes, and there's Central Park, but there's no fields as we know it. You know,
all
fields
right.
are connected, field day being a school function.
I'm hip.
What do you have in your New York schools to take the place of a...
Marijuana.
Trouble.
Oh, no.
Don't ask any actual questions with a question mark at the end of them, Jane. 18 funny answers.
I
Well,
know.
how funny is for others to judge. But you'll get no straight answers around here. Anyway, so we've established that Mel Torme was a member of the old group from the picture Who Cares If You Weren't, right? Big deal. But he's one of the finest singers of all time, and here he is to sing a Duke Ellington classic. Don't get around much anymore.
Miss the Saturday dance. Hearts they crowded the floor. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. Thought I'd visit the club. Got as far as the door. They'd have asked me about you. Don't get around much anymore. Oh, baby, I guess my mind's more at ease. Nevertheless, why stir up memories? Been invited on dates. Might have gone, but what for? Awfully different without you. Don't get around anymore. Miss the Saturday dance. I heard the people crowd the floor. Simply couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around. But I'd visit the club, and I got as far as the front door. Everyone was asking about you, so I don't get around much anymore. Maybe I guess that my heart's in deep freeze. You got the key
what for? Life's one big drag without you. Don't get around. Don't get around. Don't get around. Don't get around much anymore. Oh no.
That's Mel Torme. During that last few bars of the selection, we were voicing our appreciation here. Ms. Baldwin pointed out that there's a story in, is it today's Wall Street Journal about Jackie Mason, and we were, yesterday's?
Yesterday.
Whatever. Anyway, it's great that he's getting the attention he deserves because he's one of the funniest guys on earth. I could listen to Jackie Mason discuss the differences between Jews and Gentiles for 18 years without even approaching the point of, well, so much for that, let me have something else now. I think it's about as funny as funniness ever gets. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, you were the one that started him. In fact, he credits you in the article.
Well, all I did was realize he was brilliant and hire him. You know, I don't deserve any gold medals for that. If he had been lousy, he, wouldn't have been on the show. I didn't do him any favors. I just saw.
But I've actually talked to him about it, and he tells how at that time everybody, literally everybody, told him he could never make it with that accent. He had to take speech lessons. He had
God.
And that you were the only one that disagreed, and he decided to go with you and your instincts.
I was so naive when I was young, Mark, that I actually thought that if anything was as obvious enough, where anything was obvious as remarkable talent, the whole world would hear it. I thought it was the same as noticing a loud noise or a bright light or something. Was I dumb? Most people have a tin ear for talent. They have a very sensitive ear for success. If you are a success, doesn't matter whether you're a successful gangster, successful, if you're in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most rapes of all time, success is what the American people are thrilled by.
Well, there's another thing, too, and that's familiarity.
Yes.
If you come along and you're different, like you say with the accent, and they said he had to have speech lessons. If you come along and you're not Bob Hope, they say, oh, get him out of here with that accent, Then he makes it, and they say, isn't he funny, isn't that accent?
Yeah, now where can we find another Jackie Mason? They're importing people from Israel now with accents to be funny.
And apparently he gave up an agent and a manager to do your show. They threatened to drop him if he didn't listen and he did your show.
Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway,
they threatened to drop him if he did do your show or not?
Because they thought it was too early exposure. They thought he should take some speech lessons and then come back.
But wait a minute. Was this at the time when Steve was opposite Sullivan?
Yeah, I guess
that may have had a lot to do with it.
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think there was any direct connection between those two. I think the Sullivan incident with the finger came later. But this was like 1957-ish or 8-ish or so. Yeah. And I laughed at him then, and I still do.
No, my point is that Sullivan may have not wanted him. Before the finger thing, he may not have wanted him to go on your show.
No, I don't think so. No. He had worked with Ed's show a number of times, but
that did go on at the time. If you did your show, you couldn't do Sullivan. And
there was some of that. Not on our part. I didn't care whether you were on Ed's show, the 6 o'clock news, or whatever. All I cared, if you were good, we wanted you, But Ed had a journalistic background. He was never an entertainer, of course. He was an important and formidable newspaper man, so he had the newspaper man's mentality, the scoop, the exclusive. Even exclusives now don't mean that much as they used to. But in the old days, it was a big deal to get there first with a certain story and so forth. Now it's more civilized. They share news, and the Los Angeles Times will credit the Wall Street Journal and so forth. But in those days, that's how Ed looked at it.
Have you ever told the story about Elvis being on your show?
Yeah, but it's about a 20-minute story, so I'll hold it in reserve.
Well, someday, maybe like next week.
Or
tomorrow.
Tell the story about Elvis versus Ed Sullivan. I think people would be interested in it.
All right, sure. All right, we will definitely do that. At the moment, however,
we'll stop for a minute.
We'll stop, and then we have some more music and all kinds of interesting things.
Coming up on WNEW.
Tune in to WNEW 1130 on your AM dial and listen to the sounds of exciting run and gun New Jersey Nets basketball. Sponsored in part by the Miller Brewing Company, the 9X Yellow Pages, and Rickle Home Centers. On Thursday, February 19th, the Golden State Warriors come to the Meadowlands for their only New Jersey appearance this season. Turn your radio on to WNEW February 19th and catch the running game of the Nets as they look to avenge their earlier quadruple overtime marathon contest to the hot shooting Warriors. Airtime is 7:20 p.m.
The city, the winter, get me out of here. I'm ready to go.
When you need that well-deserved vacation, let TAP Air Portugal whisk you away to one of the world's most peaceful and beautiful countries, Portugal.
Leave that man's leg alone. You don't know where it's been.
Nice, Fifi. I need a vacation very soon.
Tap Air Portugal lets you have it all. For only $529, you get 7 days and 6 nights in beautiful Portugal. And that includes airfare, hotel, car.
Portugal. The palaces, villages, museums, lots of golf and tennis, even castles.
Portugal. Contact your travel agent or call Tap Air Portugal at 212-944-2100. Price per person, double occupancy, traveling midweek. Advance purchase and other restrictions apply. Price increase April 1st, 1987.
Sir, how do I get to the planet Neptune?
Yeah, it's time for Portugal right now.
G'day, Paul Hogan here for Australia. Now, it says here that Australia is the largest island and the smallest continent. Now, that's typical. Even the history books can't agree about the wonders down under. Just when you think it's one thing, like endless miles of the most spectacular desert on Earth, it goes and turns into a snowfield as big as Switzerland, just before it turns into 13,000 miles of beach. No wonder people are wondering about Australia. There's birds as big as people that give up flying and took up marathon running. There's giant red kangaroos that could easily go the full 15 rounds with Rocky. And there's tiny little kangaroos that live in trees. It's the world's weirdest free-range zoo down here. Now, if you figure I'm laying it on a bit thick, I can't blame you. But all you got to do is get on the blower and call the Australian Tourist Commission on 1-800-445-4500. And they'll send you the Aussie holiday book. Well, the call's free, so what are you waiting for?
This is Dr. Stephen Donis. Perhaps you've heard me before. I practice podiatry, which is taking care of people's feet. One of the things that upsets me is seeing people walking in pain with bunions, crooked-looking toes, and other foot problems. I'm the kind of a person that's very sensitive to pain, and I try my best to see that my patients are comfortable during treatment. You may not be aware, but most foot deformities can be easily corrected in minutes in my office. With my knowledge, skills, and advanced techniques, I've been able to help my patients walk comfortably again. Why don't you call me and make an appointment so that I can have the opportunity of meeting you and helping you? Call me today. To make an appointment in Manhattan, call 212-995-8282. That's 995-8282. In Westchester, call 914-769-1515. That's 914-769-1515.
This message has been brought to you by Dr. Stephen M. Donis, DPMPC.
It's 1:45 at WNEW. Julius LaRosa coming up after 2 o'clock. Once again, Steve Allen.
Yes, Julius LaRosa. We were talking earlier today about Holly Loki and Julius in the old days on the Arthur Godfrey Show, all that stuff. We've had some interesting reaction to the Put On album that I recorded some years ago, titled The Wild Piano of Mary Ann Jackson. Remember, Jane, we had our lovely housekeeper at the time, Mary Sears, a black lady, posed for the album cover. And
She's wearing some of my costume jewelry in the picture, I think.
Yes, that's right.
Dressed her up.
And she had a marvelous time out. I said, are you willing to go along with this joke? And she loved it. She said, just give me some albums. So we gave her about 30 copies of the albums, and she sent them to friends, and she was thrilled. Anyway, people said, is that for real? Yeah, I played the piano in the album. And then we wrote some liner notes alleging that it was, music by this black pianist who'd been playing in an actual jazz club in Paris. I happened to have visited once, called the Mars Club, and people fell for it. Not only hook and line, but sinker. Anyway, in answer to several requests, here's one of the tracks from the Mary Ann Jackson album called And So to Bed. the wild piano of Mary Ann Jackson.
How come she looks like you?
She was a sweet lady. She has a nice smile. I'm just looking at the album cover here. Anyway, we're going to be hearing from Rosemary Clooney very shortly. And then we're going to be tidying up the studio, aren't we, Jane? Because Julius LaRosa
I
comes.
just thought of something.
What?
Rosemary's doing a Westbury Fair with Bob Hope.
Is she?
Yeah, soon.
Ah, well, let's get her down
Get her
here.
to come in.
That's a very good idea.
She sends us a great Christmas card every year. It's a cassette of Christmas carols. She sends them every year.
You mean she makes fresh cassettes every year?
Exactly, and that's her Christmas card. She sends them to her friends.
And on the tape you hear, "Hi, George and Gracie," or "Hi, Jane, Steve," whoever you are. And then she sings the Christmas carols. It's a very sweet idea.
And I love her voice.
Speaking of...
she's singing better than she has in her whole life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, better.
Wonderfully.
Speaking of Westbury, when is Joan Rivers there?
This weekend and next weekend.
This weekend, next weekend.
You
Okay.
might want to avoid the area.
No, my goodness. For all you Joan Rivers fans out there, you can catch her out at Westbury. Now...
And I'm appearing in my garage.
Nightly.
Never night.
Nitely, nightly. Okay, it's time now to hear, is it not?
Yeah, we're going to have another visitor in a moment, I believe.
Oh, really?
In fact, this is your life. Steve Allen coming through the door right now. Ladies and gentlemen.
Jasbo Collins.
Jasbo Collins.
Hi, Jasbo.
Hi, good afternoon to you all.
Hello.
Welcome to Grand Central Station. It's a veritable field day here.
It's so crowded, though, you can't quite get in.
What a day this has been.
What a rare mode I'm in.
Why, it's almost like being...
That's right, today's my day to pay the rent, and I haven't gotten used to it yet in New York. So I took my camera along and had the doorman take a shot of me putting it into the mailbox. So I know I did it, and I got the full measure out of it all day long. But what a day it's been. I mean, I looked into a window on 42nd Street coming in, and it was full of African masks from, you know, the hill country.
Yes.
And one of them looked at me, and I must have stood there for about 2 minutes and finally said, "That's enough for now, more later." So here I am, and here's a help wanted ad in the Village Voice that I brought for you to look at. It's circled in red.
I'm familiar, by the way, on a personal basis with those African masks. It's the former Fletcher Henderson bone section, trombone section, ladies and gentlemen.
They had some great chops.
We have a, this is a legit thing. It's from the Village Voice. Thank you, help wanted. And it says here, figure model wanted by blind sculptor. Call anytime. It's a hands-on proposition, I guess. And it's a legitimate thing with a phone number and all that stuff. A little public service we perform, thanks.
Probably somebody like Kudabucks. You can see them throughout the side.
Someday, maybe not today, but when we have more time, we ought to call some of these ads.
Yes, we used to do that on one of my TV shows in the early 60s. In fact, that's where we got the Funny Phone Calls albums from, some of those actual calls. People would either put ads in the Hollywood papers, or there was the Hollywood Ranch Market across the street, as you may recall, Mark, and they would have they had a bulletin board there with legit ads, you know, wanted to drive to Seattle or whatever the proposition was, and there was a phone number we would call on the air. So we'll hold that in abeyance.
Someday this week, maybe we'll do it.
All right. And in the meantime,
did you actually bathe in a bowl full or a bathtub full of lime jello, or what was that?
Well, I forget the flavor, but yes, I was lowered into an enormous vat of jello, and in another situation into the same vat, in this instance, full of hot water, and I was covered with about 200 tea bags. And the audience came up and drank me. But right now, here's Rosemary Clooney.
In a moment.
In a moment. And then Rosemary Clooney.
And more coming up on WNEW. Every business today knows there's no greater acknowledgement than a satisfied customer. And Day Hill Mayflower, for the past 50 years, has been offering families and corporations satisfaction and peace of mind when it came to moving. Special pride is taken at Day Hill Mayflower. From extensive planning and careful packing to on-time delivery and pickups, that's made moving trouble-free for you. Join the countless thousands who've been treated to the personal attention, efficient, and professional performance that only a company like Day Hill Mayflower can provide. For more information, call them today, toll-free in New York State, 1-800-522-1572. Out of New York, 1-800-221-0922. Or in New Jersey, call A1 Mayflower at 1-201-251-8000. Day Hill Mayflower provides dependable personal service nationwide or worldwide, making each move a new challenge and a one-of-a-kind event. Whether personal relocation, office relocation, or individual household, the company to choose to make the right move is Day Hill Mayflower, where their greatest asset is your peace of mind.
Stay tuned for another money-saving tip from trustworthy hardware stores and home centers.
Here's the perfect kit for projects around the home, basement, workshop, and outdoors. The Burnsomatic Utility Torch Kit. Everything you need is included. A solid brass burner, propane cylinder, a spark lighter, and a flame spreader. It's packed in a storage box with a built-in handle for easy carrying. Only $12.99 at participating trustworthy stores.
Trustworthy saves you time and money. We're the problem solvers.
Alka-Seltzer presents Rescues from Modern Living. Today, breakfast specials.
So I asked the waiter for 2 eggs, 1 burnt, 1 runny. Toast, black one side, soggy the other. Coffee, cold. A sour glass of juice, a greasy strip of bacon. And you know what he says? He couldn't do it. I said, why not? That's what you gave me last time.
Next time your breakfast doesn't go over easy, send the bubbles of Alka-Seltzer to the rescue. Because speed is what you need to relieve your upset stomach with a headache. Fast.
Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
It's the perfect eye-opener. Use only as directed.
The legend continues. New York's legendary ballroom, Roseland, New York's biggest and best ballroom, is now also its most beautiful. Roseland has been completely refurbished from top to bottom. Come celebrate the brand new look of Roseland. Take your favorite partner or come alone and find a partner. Roseland brings back dance hostesses and hosts. Thursday ballroom starts at 2:30 p.m. Then from 4 until 10, enjoy Roseland's $1 a dance with lovely hostesses and handsome hosts. Ballroom dancing is also featured Saturdays from 2:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. and Sundays from 2:30 p.m. until midnight. Celebrate the brand new Roseland. This week's featured bands are Bob January and Emilio Reyes. March 5th at 6:30 p.m., Mitchell Parrish, world-renowned lyricist of the Broadway hit Stardust, will be presented an award. 5 before 2 at WNEW. This is Mark Simone, and once again, Steve Allen.
Thank you very much, Mark. And before Rosemary Clooney, I'm told we have just a brief bit of business to conduct. If you've ever considered a Florida vacation home but thought that you just couldn't afford one, why don't you get a better job? No, seriously. Here's the time. Now is the time for you to see K. Hovnanian's Florida. And right here in Manhattan, there's a full-size furnished Florida condominium in the Pine Ridge Model Center on the concourse level of the Empire State Building. The same, self-same, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condominium you'll find at K. Hovnanian's Pine Ridge at Lake Tarpon in the Tampa Clearwater area on Florida's Gulf Coast for as little as $48,750 with low monthly maintenance fees that guarantee the upkeep and beauty of your home and community for years to come. Visit the Model Center in the Empire State Building. Tour the model. Find out more about this and other fine K. Hovnanian Florida communities in Fort Myers, Fort Bragg, the Palm Beaches, and Stewart. Ask for Ann, Sandy, or Irwin. See if they can sing harmony. They are the Florida experts. Or call 212-239-4010. That's 239-4010. The complete terms are in an offering plan available from the sponsor. There's a Cole Porter song heard not nearly often enough. We're going to hear it right now. It's a great one called Get Out of Town. Here's Rosie to sing it.
Get out of town before it's too late, my love. Get out of town, be good to me, please. Why wish me harm? Why not retire to a farm and be contented to charm the birds off the trees? Just disappear. I care for you much, too much. And when you are near, close to me, dear, we touch too much. The thrill when we meet is so bittersweet that, darling, it's getting me down. So on your mark, get set, get out of town. much, too much. When you are near, close to me, dear, we touch too much. The thrill when we meet is so bittersweet that, darling, it's getting me down. So on your mark, get set, get out of town.
And that brings us to a... Jane is conducting some personal business over at the corner, and thousands of people are enjoying your remarks, Jane, at this moment. Anyway, thank you, Mark. Thanks to the whole gang for the 4-hour visit. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Miss Waldman. Thank you, Mr. Simone.
Visit?
Well,
more of an ordeal.
Ordeal. A new name for the series. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 2. Julius LaRosa is next.
Hi, this is Les Davis. Join me every night as I play America's music in the jazz world on AM 1130, WNEW, New York.
WNEW News at 2. It's cloudy, 39 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm Michael Isaac. The convicted killer of a New Jersey state trooper has been sentenced to life in prison. Thomas Manning was convicted last month on 2 counts of felony murder as well as robbery and escape. Manning calls himself an anti-imperialist freedom fighter. The judge calls him a murderer. Manning killed state trooper Philip Lamonaco in 1981. He is not eligible for the death penalty because the crime occurred prior to 1982. Manning's life sentence will not even begin until he completes another 53-year sentence for a series of bombings in the New York area. Drug and alcohol tests, the order of the day at Metro North. The commuter rail line is testing its employees, those who were on duty during last night's train collision. They are also checking traffic. The Justice Department today says 8 out of every 10 people arrested recently for serious crimes in New York City tested positively for cocaine use. That's almost double the number since 1984. The study finds that the average user is young and most likely to be arrested for either selling drugs or for stealing. In Philadelphia today, a major dent in the illegal drug trade announced by Attorney General Meese.
We are announcing the indictments of 56 persons on federal drug charges. Last June, there were 28 others were indicted in the first phase of this project. Today's indictments increased the number so far to 84.
The indictment's a result of local and federal investigators pooling their efforts. Still no phone service in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Tens of thousands of customers in that area cannot receive incoming calls. It's the result of a fire at a switching station. The phone company says it is unsure how soon service might be back to normal. Governor Cuomo has scheduled a press conference for right about now. He has still not announced whether or not he plans to run for the White House. No word on what today's press conference is about. WNEW is covering. We'll keep you posted. President Reagan's choice for CIA director today testified that he would think twice before using private individuals in secret schemes. Barbara Campbell watching that story.
In the second day of his Senate confirmation hearing, CIA Director nominee Robert Gates said covert operations using private individuals should only be conducted cautiously.
Including a full knowledge of whatever motives that individual may have and taking those into account. I'm not prepared to say we should never use such a private individual, but I think we need to do so with great caution.
Investigators say private individuals were used both in contacting Iranian officials and selling them arms, and in providing money diverted from that project to the Nicaraguan rebels. Gates says there was a danger of the operation becoming public because private participants were disgruntled at not receiving payment. Barbara Campbell, Capitol Hill.
On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 3 1/4 points at 2234 1/4. The Iowa Supreme Court today has ruled in the case of a farmer who was annoying his neighbors when he fertilized his field. The High Court has ruled that farmer Richard Bear must stop spreading highly pungent hog manure on his fields.
Mary, it's 23 degrees out there. Don't go out, sweetheart.
Jim, I'm getting cabin fever.
Listen, I've got a great idea. Let's go into New York for a night at the Waldorf Astoria.
Oh, the Waldorf?
Yeah.
But isn't that terribly extravagant?
Not really. For 10 days in February, they're having this Winter Wonderland special.
Ooh.
And a deluxe room costs only $135, about $68 each, and you do have $68 in that cookie jar, don't you,
How
sweetheart?
did you know about my secret fund?
Well, we won't get into that. But listen, I'll pay for the room, and we'll drive in since we get to park for free. You'll use your cookie money for dinner at Peacock Alley Restaurant right in the Waldorf, and we can even take the kids free if you want.
My mother will take the kids free, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Winter Wonderland at the Waldorf. What a wonderful idea for the two of us.
Oh, I get it.
$135 per night rate effective February 19th through the 28th for single or double room. Advanced registration required. Number of rooms at promotional rate are limited.
The Mets of yesteryear, remember them? We'll tune into the Sports Connection tonight on WNEW at 6 o'clock. That's the topic. In sports action tonight, the Islanders visit Montreal and the Devils host the Whalers. Partly sunny and chilly today, a high 35 to 40 degrees. Then tonight, considerable cloudiness, cold, low 18 to 25 degrees. Tomorrow should be partly to mostly sunny and chilly with a high 36 to 41. Right now it's partly sunny, 26% humidity, winds north 8 miles an hour, and it's 39 degrees. WNEW reminds you to shop at Goodwill Industries thrift stores for brand name clothes, but not brand new prices. For more information, call 718-728-5400. That's WNEW News at 2. I'm Michael Lysak with Julius La Rosa.
This is just for you.
But I never heard of ringing.